This conference is being recorded.
People tell me every day nothing's gonna come my way. To change the cool that I hope to find. Want something that's gonna last. I wanna live and forget the past. I know this change is gonna do me good. I know this change is gonna do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me good. I'm wondering where the wind will blow. You got a clue to let me know. Don't hold back now. Give me a sign. Something really good. If you dream, you know you should. I know this change is gonna do me good. I know this change is gonna do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me everything changes in its own way. I'm feeling better to be safe. I wanna look back at all of this someday. And I wanna even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me good.
Aloha! Good evening. This is Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona with Spiritual Image Productions on Blog Talk Radio and FreeConferencing.com, and also Ustream, establishing and maintaining relationships with human values. Aloha, welcome to tonight's Golden Age Paranormal Experience show. Tonight we're here with Marietta White, all the way out of New York. Aloha, Marietta.
Aloha. Aloha to everyone.
Thank you for being here. Tonight we're talking about miracles and healing. Joining Andrew, myself, and I on the Golden Age Paranormal Experience show, geared towards people's personal experiences with UFOs, saints, aliens, angels, ghosts, etc. The second Friday of every month. Tonight, again, we're going to be talking about miracles and healing. Tonight's co-host, Andrew, myself, and I, is our executive producer of Spiritual Productions, whose mission, goal, purpose is to establish and maintain relationships with human values, or to exemplify to others right healthy relationships with ourselves, as well as with each other. Andrew, myself, and I have been counseling, coaching, mentoring for over 15 years. The astrology reading, Andrew, myself, and I do astrology readings. We do Western and esoteric style of tradition readings. Western astrology readings are more about personality and lower ego-based stuff, while esoteric readings are more soul or true life purpose stuff. With the date for the latter being psychic derived, past, present, and future are covered in both styles, while the whole reading is done with a psychic intuitive emphasis as well. Marietta White at for Andrew, myself, and I, you can go to www 90dayascensionjourney.com, and that's the number 90dayascensionjourney.com. You can get more information there. And we also have Marietta White at www.mariettawhitepsychic.com. Marietta White, psychic medium, Christian spiritualist, pastor through the Church of Radiant Light, and through her practice of teachings by Marietta, she brings her knowledge of the understanding of all that is and all that can be. She is of the belief that we are like a tiny snowflake that can become a snowball and cause an avalanche of love and kindness. Marietta invites you to take the journey with her. She has classes on mediumship as well as planned classes that include angels, beginning mediumship, reading your signs, symbolism, and numerology. And so anyhow, we're going to talk with more to Marietta about miracles and healing and go from there. In the meantime, I do want to give a big aloha to all of our underwriters that help make this show happen from week to week, month to month, year to year, beginning with Mahadikini Lorraine at www.mahadikini.com. Mahadikini Lorraine's life has been a personal journey exploring sensuality and spirituality for over 20 years. She's a certified tantric counselor and tantric healer and a certified mind sound teacher. Mahadikini Lorraine is also a graduate of Marvel Non-Zero on Sky Dancing Tantric Facilitator Training Program, as well as a current member of the Association of Sex Educators, Counselors, and Therapists Club, as well as a charter member of the Association of Sexual Energy Professionals. She regularly attends trainings and conferences to keep current with the latest research and information on sexual education. And then we have the 90-Day Ascension Journey at www.90dayascensionjourney.com. When you sign up for the 90-Day Ascension Journey, you will be facilitated with defining and redefining your soul true life purpose. You will be assisted with finding out what ascension means to you. On this journey, you will be provided with tools, techniques, and assistance to empower you to reconnect with yourself, your emotions, and feelings in your mind, body, and spirit. Through a universal soul-centered process, you will be going through a lifelong transformation that will allow you to move forward with your endeavors and never look back if you dare. And just to let you guys know, Andrew, Aloha, myself, and I have written the supplement, the book for this journey. And so you can go to spiritualimageproductions.com, spiritualimageproductions.com. On the right-hand side, you can sign up for the email list, and then you'll see a little picture of the book in the middle of the page, and you can click on that, and that'll take you to the book page where you can find out some more information, and also an excerpt where you can read the intro in the first chapter as well. Yeah, we also have the MUFON Symposium 2016 at www.mufonsymposium.com. The 2016 MUFON Symposium, UFOs from Our Oceans to Outer Space, is the 47th Annual International UFO Symposium sponsored by MUFON. This year's event features outstanding UFO researchers from all over the world sharing their insights on UFOs, where they're from, and what they are, and what this means for mankind. Join Andrew, Aloha, myself, and I, and other scientifically minded people and investigators for a great event in Orlando, Florida, from the 25th to the 28th of this year. So, if you guys happen to see me there, give me a big shout, and just let me know when you're there. So, again, going back to the Golden Age Paranormal Experience show, this show, as it evolves more and more, I just started it a few months ago, and with the notion of having somebody coming on board and talking to us about their experiences. But I'm finding out people aren't so ready to talk about their paranormal experiences, and even though this is the 21st century, and that the paranormal is actually more common than it probably ever has been on this planet. But still, people are shy. They I don't know if they're scared or whatever, but they still have no incredible desire to come on board and online or on the radio and talk to us about their experiences. In the meantime, what I've done, I've taken the time to go to Wikipedia and define miracles and healing for us. First of all, a miracle is an event not explicable. A miracle is an event not explicable by natural or scientific laws. Such an event may be attributed to a supernatural being, magic or miracle worker, a saint or religious leader. Informally, the word miracle is often used to characterize any beneficial event that is statistically unlikely but not contrary to the laws of nature, such as surviving a natural disaster or simply a wonderful experience, regardless of likelihood, such as a birth. Other such miracles might be survival of an illness diagnosed as terminal, escaping a life-threatening situation, or beating the odds. Some coincidences may be seen as miracles as well. Theologians say that with divine providence, God regularly works through created nature, yet is free to work without above or against it as well. A true miracle would, by definition, be a non-natural phenomenon, leading many rational and scientific thinkers to dismiss them as physically impossible, that is, requiring violation of established laws of physics within their domain of validity, or impossible to confirm by their nature because of all possible physical mechanisms can never be ruled out. The former position is expressed, for instance, by Thomas Jefferson, and the latter by the celebrated philosopher David Hume. And then healing, in the Wikipedia definition, healing literally meaning to make whole is the process of the restoration of health to an unbalanced disease or damaged organism. With physical damage or disease suffered by an organism, healing involves the repair of living tissue, organs, and biological systems as a whole and resumption of normal functioning. It is the process by which the cells in the body regenerate and repair to reduce the size of a damaged or necrotic area and replace it with living tissue. The replacement can happen in two ways: by regeneration, in which the necrotic cells are replaced by new cells that form similar tissue that as well as and was originally there, or by repair, in which injured tissue is replaced with scar tissue. Most organs will heal using a mixture of both mechanisms. It is also referred to in the context of the grieving process. In psychiatry and psychology, healing is the process by which neurosis and psychosis are resolved to the degree that the client is able to lead a normal or fulfilling existence without being overwhelmed by psychopathological phenomena. This process may involve psychotherapy, pharmaceutical treatment, and increasingly traditional spiritual practices. So anyhow, those are the foundations of what healing and miracles are, and by no means are Marietta, White, myself, and I considered doctors in the School of Medicine. We're not looking to diagnose anyone, and we're not looking to per se take the stance that we are saints and actually healing people. We are basically providing you with insights in terms of what healing and miracles are, as not only by definition, but examples by with what other people have done and so forth. So anyhow, I don't know if you caught all that, Marietta, but wherever you want to start, go ahead.
Okay. Well, again, I want to say that I'm not a doctor or a counselor, and I have no medical knowledge. So mostly what I'm going to be talking about today is just different forms of miracle healing, giving a little information on a couple of healings I've experienced, and just kind of letting people know what healings are available to them that they might actually want to try an alternative method. But of course, they need to consult with their doctor as well. So from there, I'm just going to start with my first experience with healing. It started out, and I guess you don't have to believe in it to make it happen, because I totally did not believe in it. I was taking some classes to be a riding instructor on a horse ranch, which was required, and they had a lady come in, and she was dressed pretty much like a really elderly nun. That's the only way I could describe her, although she wasn't in nun clothing, but she looked like a nun. And there were 23 people in the class. And what happened was I was only going to take the written portion because it was required for my to be an instructor. I was unable to ride. My back was out. I was wearing a back brace. And to just take a step, I would get a shooting pain that would go all the way up my legs and up my back. So I had no intention whatever of getting anywhere near a horse, just taking the written instruction. I did not know who the person was that was teaching the class. And this lady came in and began the class. There were 23 of us in the class. The second person she went around the room and asked us, why we were taking the class and, things like that. And the second person to be called on was a lady who was a little on the heavy side, and she said that she was only going to take the written portion because she had never been able to ride a horse, but she owned a stable. And she could walk, but she couldn't sit on a horse because she had some kind of severe back problem and was in pain every day. And then they got to me, and I said, well, I'm only taking the written portion because of my health problem. And she called us up to the front of the room. And, of course, I had no idea who she was. I'd never experienced a healing. Freaked me out entirely, so to speak.
How long ago was this, Marietta?
Pardon?
How long ago was this?
This was about 20 years ago.
Got it. Okay, got it.
Roughly about 18, 20 something.
And there in the New York area where you're at?
Place where I was working. I didn't know anybody there.
Got it.
And she put her hands on each of our backs, and she started praying about healing us. And I'm sitting there going, oh, God, get me out of here. These people are all staring at me. And I'm praying against her. And I'm going, oh, please, just let me sit down. Let me get out of here. These people are crazy, And I totally was fighting her on the issue. And when she got done, she says, you can go sit down. You'll be able to ride horses today. And I looked at her. I said, it's okay, lady. And I sat down. I thought she was kidding. And I'm usually not rude to people, but I was so appalled to be singled out and thinking that she was crazy. And so I sat down, and we did the written part of the class. And the afternoon come, and the stable was a pretty long distance from where we had our classes, and they were going to walk down there and do some stable work first. And I wasn't even going to go there because I didn't think I could walk. And I got up to go to my car, and I thought, that's funny. I took a couple of steps, no pain. A couple more, no more pain. And the other girl did the same. And so I thought, well, maybe I can go as far as the stable. So I went down to the stable, no pain. And I thought, wow, this is pretty cool, but it must be just a fluke. It'll come back any minute, And I got down to the stable. And by the end of the day, I was jumping horses about 2 or 3 feet in the air.
Wow.
I could ride. The other lady who had never been on a horse could ride. I had no pain. It totally went away. Absolutely went away.
Wow.
I later learned that this lady's name was Suzanne Pillen. She lives in England and in Africa. She has a compound in Africa. Now, she may be deceased now because she was kind of an older person. So I don't know if she's still alive, but she turned out to be a very famous lady, and she actually trained people to jump horses in the Olympics. That was her profession. They came to learn to jump and to ride in the Olympics. And she also trained horses that they rode in the Olympics. And her story is, and there's quite a lot about her, but it's called, her first book that she wrote is called Stepping Out in Faith. I know it's on the internet. I know you can contact through her somehow on the internet to order it because I've ordered it before. And also you can get it through Faith Ranch in Jewett, Jewett, Ohio. They also, I believe, could give you the address to get a hold of her if you wanted the book. But it's called Stepping Out in Faith. And how she started is she was a young girl, and I believe she was like 13 or 14. And she was totally in love with her horse, and her horse fell. The horse's back hip separated from the body by a foot. if you know anything about horses, if they get a broken leg, you're done. You have to put the horse down because there is no way to heal the horse. They can't fix it. And so her horse's name was Jackie Boy. And so she started praying. She didn't know she had any special skills or anything like that. And she started praying over it, and she put it, I cut a deal with God. And she said that if he healed her horse, she would devote her life to healing animals and people for the rest of her life. That would be her life work. And she prayed about night. In the meantime, the vet was coming to put her horse to sleep.
Wow.
And she called and said he was on his way, and she said, "Don't come, my horse is going to be healed." And he said, "When you come down, give me a call, I'll come and put the horse down." He totally didn't think it was possible. Well, the horse healed. The horse's hip went back in. The horse healed enough that the last I knew, she had the horse being used to teach children to jump for the Olympics.
Wow.
And she had him in, I believe, Africa, where she was working with him, I believe, at the time. But the horse had healed, and she's been using him for several years. She went on to do healing on animals. She began with animals mostly in the beginning, but as I can recall. She has like 4 books out, but the only one I can remember the name of is Stepping Out in Faith. She went on to heal a lot of other animals, mostly horses. She started traveling around the world, and she ended up owning a compound in Africa. And what she did in Africa was a bicycle ministry. And she would put on these things. I've seen pictures of movies of it. She's been on the Harvest Show that I don't know if it's on anymore on TV, but it used to be, I believe, on TV.
The what show?
The Harvest Show.
The Harvest Show?
Yeah, it was called the Harvest Show. I'm not sure if it's still on anymore. And anyway, she began this bicycle ministry. And what she did is she went out into the bush in Africa where they had no medical help and where there were no doctors. And she would teach how to heal by just praying and putting their hand on the person. And she put up like on the shoulder or just like pray right around them. Sometimes she prayed with just her hand out towards them. And she would teach these people that had no knowledge of anything how to heal. And then she'd come to the United States and she'd raise money for bicycles. And that's how I met her. She was here raising money. And she used to come to Faith Ranch, which is a huge ranch. At that time, they had 250 horses. I think they're down to like 100 or less now. And just a lot of riding going on. Well, she would come there as one of her stops, and she'd raise money. And then she'd go back and buy bicycles for these people out in the bush and give them the bicycles so they could travel from village to village doing healing. I've seen seminars of her healing where there was like 1,000 people there, all doing healing and being healed.
Wow.
I witnessed her healing not only with me, but with the other lady. I also had opportunities to see her doing other healings. And she said that when she was healing, while she was doing the healing, she would know whether that person was going to be healed. She said not everyone would be healed, but an awful lot of people would. And I watched with absolute miracles because these were people I knew. I knew what was wrong with them. They would come to be healed because they're people in our community. And the one that struck me the most was a man came in with Parkinson's, just shaking tremendously, couldn't walk. He was so bad, and he got up and walked out, and he stopped shaking.
Wow.
Oh my God, it was just so amazing. Her healing was just amazing. So that was my experience with actually being part of the healing. I also sent one of my friends to her. She had fallen off a ladder, and she did some kind of injury to her tailbone where she couldn't sit down.
Wow.
And when I first met her, she stood all the time. She would come to meetings with us, and she wouldn't sit down. And when she rode in the car, she had to kind of like lay down while she rode in the car. And she would come and she'd stand behind a chair because she couldn't sit. And so I got her to go there, and she went to get a healing. And as she's coming out, she was grumbling, well, I didn't feel anything. It didn't seem like it did anything for me. And by the second day, she was all healed. It was just totally gone away. She could sit down again. She had no pain.
Wow.
That was the kind of thing happened. It was just absolutely amazing to me. I had no idea that kind of thing could happen.
Wow.
Since then, I have done some healing. I don't do it primarily because I don't feel like I'm really trained in it that well. But I've watched other people do like Reiki healing, different types of spiritual healing. So I have witnessed healing. I've also witnessed the drum healing, where a lady had a lot of trouble. I believe it was with her back. I've sort of forgotten what her problem was, but I remembered that afterwards she was so amazed because she felt so good. And drum healing is sort of like, I want to describe it as being like healing the vibration of your aura, which is the energy field around the outside of your body. And I witnessed that kind of healing, so that was amazing. I've also been to Louisdale, New York, and in Louisdale they do a spiritual healing, which is different than Reiki. It's not a Reiki healing, and I'll give a little description of Reiki for those that don't know it too. The spiritual healing is kind of like more or less like Suzanne did. And they have like a building there that they do healings in, and people can go there to try to get healing.
Right.
Reiki is healing energy field where you bring the energy down through your body and put it into the body of the other person. It takes out the negative energy and puts good energy in. It heals chakras, and I've got a little bit more I can give you on that in a minute. But Reiki is kind of a hands-on type of healing where you put your hands on the body or just above it. You can also send distant healing, which I've done before. And it's all kind of, the only way I can describe distant healing is you're sending out the energy, and it's kind of on the idea of psychic ability. It's part of the psychic field, but it's kind of like fine-tuning the radio. You're just kind of sending an energy wave to that person, and it can create healing. And they do not have to be, contrary to what people think, they do not have to want the healing to make it work. They don't have to. It isn't a mind over matter thing, because just like with me, I was totally fighting it. I wasn't in no mood for it at all, and it works for me. And it's the same way with a lot of healing that you can heal. But it's usually best to, when you're healing, to kind of learn some kind of system of healing. If anyone is out there who has had a healing, I'd appreciate if they call in and talk about it. I'd like to hear what they've had, what they've experienced in the past. Just to see, what kind of stuff there is. There's a lot of different forms of healing and types of tools they're used in healing. And there's other types of miracle healing as well. There's all kinds of things that go on. I'm very familiar with it, like shamanic healing, which I find very interesting. Most healing has some sort of connection with the energy field of your body. Anyone can learn to do healing, and everybody can receive healing. Most people think, it's somebody special. It's not. You just need to learn one of the methods, and they all work. You don't have to be one certain type of healing to, do it. If you want to learn Reiki, it works. If you want to learn some other type of healing, that works too. Think of it this way. When a part of our body is injured, we touch that part of the body. Like if our hand gets hurt, we grab it with our hand and hold it. That's because we're giving a healing energy. We're predisposed to be healers. Natural instinct sends healing energy to the hurt part of our body and allows the body to heal. Mothers touch, hold, and caress their children when they're in pain. When we are joyful, happy, or in a good mood, the touch seems more pleasant than when we're in a bad mood. We're surrounded by the human energy field called the aura, and we all perceive this field only perhaps not consciously. We commonly have a feeling about a stranger. We either like them or dislike them, and that's part of picking up on their energy field. If you walk into a room and you feel, you may walk into a room and know somebody's angry with no one telling you. You're picking up on their energy field. You're picking up on the energy waves they send out. Same thing for happy. You walk into a room and it just gets this happy feeling. You're picking up that energy field. It's called higher sense perception. Sometimes it's called being an empath. It's the same thing. Some people call it the sixth sense. The life force field is the energy that surrounds us all. In spiritual healing, the healer will regulate his or her own energies to allow the energy to pass from his or her own body to the recipient to allow the healing to occur. Generally, we bring it down through the top of our head, through the crown, down through our chakras. I'll give a little explanation of that in a second. But we kind of bring it down through our body and put it out to the person. And it's kind of like being an antenna, and we bring that energy in and we send it to the person we want the healing to take place. You don't really heal the spirit because spirit isn't sick. Some people have that misconcept. But you're using energy from the spiritual realm, from a higher dimension. You need to meditate before starting to be a clear channel for healing. In most cases, there's some form of meditation. Prayer, often, that's just another form of meditation, another way of bringing that energy and clearing your energy. You have to open all your chakras so you can be used as a healing channel. If you have a lot of problems with your chakras, which are energy fields in the body, you're going to have more trouble trying to put healing to someone else. So you have to kind of make sure you're in good shape. It dates back to Bible times. At that time, anyone could put their hands on someone and pray for a healing. It talks in the Bible about touching the robe of someone and them being healed. It talks about sending healing in the Bible. There's a lot of messages about healing in there. It was a very common thing in those days. And it wasn't just with Jesus in the Bible. There were other people doing healing there too, and there's actually some monuments in the Holy Land to other healers. There was lots of miracles going on at that time. As you develop spiritual healing abilities, you'll find that you become more psychic. They kind of go hand in hand. Or you may become more clairvoyant either way, or if you are a psychic, it's easier to develop your healing abilities. It can go either way. You may become more aware of things that are not of your dimension, such as angels and spirits, once you start working in these fields. There's some different tools used in spiritual healing. They use a lot of different tools. Often use the assistance of spirit guides. You all have a spirit guide. Some people have more than one. If you're of a higher level, you usually work with the same one for a long period of time. If you're just developing your skills, you may have different guides to come and go. Generally, when you're doing healing, the guide you have has something to do with healing. It may be a shaman or an ancient doctor or something like that, a medicine person, something like that. People often use crystals or stones for different types of healing. Some people use different kinds of lights. They feel that helps with healing. There's Krylon photography, which takes pictures of your energy field to pinpoint places where you need healing. Some, especially religions, believe in the laying out of hands. There's space healing. Spirit healing, which we're talking about. There's psychic surgery. And I can probably get into that a little more too. Often used by American Indians, but also used by other groups as well. The country of India uses psychic surgery, and it's just a different way of doing healing without actually cutting open the body. Absent healing is healing, sending energy through the air or not touching the body. There's aura healing. Past life therapies. Some people find that they have to go back into a past life and heal a problem they had there. And I have not experienced a particular type of healing, but I have friends who have, and I have friends who do it. And they say that it's very helpful. So if someone's having a repeated pattern in their life, they might want to look at going into a past life to see if there's a way to fix. Once they understand what happened, it helps them fix what's going on. There's soul-directed healing, and there's therapeutic touch. So there's a lot of healing out there, and it's been used for centuries and centuries. And now our country seems to be all about just pushing a pill, which there's been a lot on the news lately about how well that's working. So it's time to maybe look at some of these ancient healing methods and start bringing back some of these skills that were used for centuries, and then we kind of lost the ability to do it. Spiritual healing goes back to the beginning of time. Early cultures such as Egyptian and Greek believed that many illnesses were the result of non-physical forces. The ancients believed that some kind of disharmony between humanity and God or divine forces were the cause of all body illnesses. Most Christians would say the greatest spiritual healer was Jesus, who was said to have healed the sick and cured the blind and raised the dead. In pre-Christian times, yogis from the East were believed to be able to heal themselves and others through creative meditation and prayer. The first documented healer was an Egyptian called, and I cannot pronounce the word, but it's Emhotptshatt. So it's Mhotep, I think it is. In about 3000 BC, they had some documentation written on clay tablets about him. Even after his death, he was reported to have healed patients in their dreams. He would come to them in their dreams, and this is all been documented where they were healed that way. The patron saint of modern medicine was reported to heal people by dreaming. One of the more recent healers is Edgar Casey, which I can speak on him a little bit in a minute. Today, the symbol, the snake curled around the rod, actually came from an ancient great physician who did spiritual healing. Another one with a tremendous name I can't pronounce. Let's see if I get some of this will come. If you want to look it up, it comes from the Art of Spiritual Healing, and it also comes from a DVD, A Step-by-Step Guide to Holistic Health. So some of this information is coming from that. The origins of healing is spiritual healing goes back to the beginning of time. So we had that. Christianity is we considered all healing a spiritual gift, and that anyone possessing this gift had been blessed by the Holy Spirit. Christianity considered that all healing was a spiritual gift, having been blessed by the Holy Spirit. By the 2nd century AD, healing was only performed by bishops and priests, because that was all that was allowed to do that. They stopped letting other people do it, and they just said they were the only ones that had the right. By the 4th century, the whole concept of spiritual healing had died and was no longer considered to be part of the Christian ministry. Spiritual healing did not resurface in the West until the end of the 19th century, so now it's starting to come back into vogue again. Because people have researched it. We now have technology, we can research this stuff. And they're now saying, hey, this stuff actually works. So they're taking a new look at it. And even in like magazines like Time magazine, I read something in there a while ago about it. A lot of your magazines, the scientific magazines and stuff, are coming out with more information now, saying, hey, a lot of this stuff really works. In the 20th century, numerous spiritual healers emerged throughout the world, some working in extreme primitive conditions. The most famous 20th century healer was Harry Edwards. He claimed only a 20% failure rate for any disease, including cancer. He believed that huge sums of money was wasted in looking for cures in diseases. He believed that it was possible for any person to use his or her own thoughts and emotional process to heal an illness or disease. Some of the famous healers are, there was Bruce Manaway. He began in World War II. He discovered that putting his hands on wounds could generate heat or tingling sensation. And he started using that as a method of healing people. George Chapman channeled to perform many spiritual operations on the spirit body. And channeling means kind of going into a meditative state and then pulling the energy kind of out of the atmosphere, so to speak. You're actually pulling it from another dimension and using it to heal someone.
Got it.
Yeah, and then there was Betty Shine, who sensed the aura around a person and consulted with many celebrities and healing celebrities. One of the most famous ones, and the one I really find a lot of interest in, was Edgar Casey, who diagnosed cases without the patient being present. Edgar Casey was called the American Psychic. Let me see if I have any data on him. He was around the 1870s. He started out with losing. As a child, he had visions of, just like a lot of children, of a psychic friend that he played with, his little imaginary friend. When he got around 24 or somewhere around there, he lost his voice and was unable to speak. And doctors couldn't help him with it. He had no education. He didn't have any higher education. He was simply a farmer, and I think he did something like sell shoes or something like that. And he lost his voice and couldn't speak, and for a long time he was unable to speak, I guess for a number of years. And then went to a hypnotist one time, and the hypnotist hypnotized him and told him to look at himself and see what's wrong with him. And during his hypnotic session, he said, I can see the body. And from that, he discovered what was wrong with himself and was able to heal himself. And when he came out of his hypnotic state, he was able to talk again.
Huh. Wow.
They said he could heal other people. It just started happening where he would go into this hypnotic state himself. He would go into like a trance state or a strong meditative state. And he would channel because he was unaware of what went on when he did it. He didn't remember questions asked him. He didn't remember what was said. So he ended up having to have his wife sit in and document everything.
Huh.
And it was so interesting because he could have somebody call him, give a location, and that's all he needed to know. He didn't need to know anything about the person, just that they lived on, 13th Street in Texas or something like that. And he would go into the state, and he would be like totally unresponsive to anything else. And the first thing he'd say is, "We can see the body," or "We have the body."
Huh.
And he would give them a diagnosis and what to do about it. And he would give all these healing things. And he was actually the first one to describe putting a pin, like where you put joints together and they now put pins in.
Oh, really?
He actually, he was the first one to ever discover how to do that through this trance state. And he is now being studied, the last I read, he was being studied by 10 universities in the United States. I believe one of them was the University of Phoenix. Studying his cures because they discovered he did thousands and thousands of cures, gave detailed medical information and things to do to cure some illness that no one knew how to cure.
Huh.
And so there's a huge library on him. I'm trying to think. I think it's in Maryland.
I don't know. I thought I read somewhere that he was reincarnated again as well, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I just know they're studying all of his stuff because they've discovered that everything was pretty accurate, or at least a lot of it is, and they've proved a lot of his things were accurate. But at the time that he was coming up with them, it was unheard of. He also did some other things. He was able to locate oil. Some people started coming, and that's when he started getting his wife involved. People would come in and ask questions, and give them an answer, and they'd leave. And what they started doing is asking ways to make money. They would come in, where can I find this mine or whatever, and he would give it to them, but he didn't know he did it. And when he discovered they were using it to make money, to him that was morally wrong. He only wanted to do healing, so that's when he started having his wife document it.
Okay.
So, I'm trying to think. I can't remember where it is that his library is. I think it's in Maryland, but you can actually go to it if you want to and study there. Here it is. Edgar Casey Foundation, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Okay. It says a breakdown of his readings indicates that 68% are physical readings concerned with the diagnosis and treatment of physical ailments. 14% are life readings on past and present incarnation, and 5% involve business inquiries. And then he had just a few other things where he answered questions.
Well, and I want to give a big aloha to Pugnama. I can't really see it. Pugnama 63. Now he states, or this person states that David Wilcock claims it to be the reincarnation of Edgar Casey. I don't know. Do you know who David Wilcock is?
No, I don't know about him.
Oh, you don't. In fact, that does remind me. A few years ago, I did interview a guy by the name of Winfrey, who talked about David Wilcox and being the reincarnation of Edgar Casey. And so I'm not sure. This person in the chat room is saying that he doesn't believe that's true either. But I don't know how true it is or isn't. But that's out there. So So
Do we have anybody that's called in?
I was just getting to open up the line and then they hung up, but that's okay, doesn't matter.
Okay,
So,
I can do more if there's...
well, let's go like this. Let's take a break. We're gonna play some music by David Estes from his album, oh man, I can't do it. I did it again. Hang on a second. I'll tell you what the name of the album is when I get back. But the name of the song is called JJ Radha Ramana Hari Bol. We're going to send out love, blessings, healing, angels of light, love to all those people that are practitioners that participate in working to help heal people, help promote and produce miracles. The people here in the chat rooms and our phone lines, our family, friends, our vehicle that help take care of us, to our places of residence, and of course to the President of the United States and his family, to all the people running for office, and to the people that are going, especially to the people that are going to be taking up the positions in leadership this year, and all their family and friends as well. Anybody you want to add to that, Marietta?
No, I think you covered it pretty well.
Okay, of course, to all the kids and animals and the plants on the planet, especially the ones in need concern.
Right.
Everyone else in need concern. And we'll be back. Again, JJ Radha Ramana Hari Bol by David Estes.
Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. 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 Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana 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 Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol.
And we're back. This is Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona. We're Spiritualness Productions on Blog Talk Radio and FreeConferencing.com, and now Houston, establishing and maintaining relationships with human value. Aloha and welcome to tonight's Golden Age Paranormal Experience Show. We're here with Marietta White, all the way out of New York, talking about miracles and healing. We've talked about Ed Casey and a number of, Marietta's own personal healing that took place years ago when she was learning how to ride horses. Is that correct?
Yes, when I was going to be a riding instructor.
Oh, got it. So, and there's so much more about healing. We gave some definitions about healing and also miracles in their basic sense, and mainly stuff that has happened out of the ordinary, out of this that's not natural, that people, physicians and other scientists can't describe, and that things that take place. And then there's simple healings or miracles that take place, like birthings somebody surviving a natural disaster and all kinds of stuff. So now there's also saints. We haven't really got into the notion. We talked about Edgar Cayce going into a trance and coming up with remedies to help people heal and in some cases promote and produce miracles. But we haven't really talked about saints and their capabilities. There's a man by the name of Sai Baba who, I don't know, do you know who Sai Baba is, Marietta?
Yes, I do. Yes, I recently watched a movie on him, actually.
Yeah, there's all kinds of miracles that he used to do and meetings that he used to do when he was here. He passed away. He transcended several years back, and in fact, I've gone to visit him. I was in his ashram for about almost 2 months in Puduparty and also Whitefield, and seeing him numerous times manifest or vibhuti, which is called vibhuti or sacred ash. People use it for medicinal purposes and all kinds of stuff. And he would produce rings and diamond rings. Now, some of these rings were actually blue diamonds and also green diamonds, which I had never seen before. And so that was unique and out of the ordinary. And then there was one story that there was a woman by the name of Wilma Bronte that used to do, she used to lead people to India. She'd take groups over there to visit Sai Baba. Literally, every year I don't know how many groups, but 3 or 4 or 5 groups or whatever. Every year she'd go to India 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times, I don't know how many times, but she'd take groups to India to visit Sai Baba. And when she first started doing this, she took a group over there, and when you go there to his ashram, the men all sit on one side, and then the women sit on the other side. He keeps everybody separated in that sense, because you're there to study, to do your spiritual practices and focus on yourself and on your becoming enlightened. So the idea of going there to socialize is not high priority, not even for a second. So anyhow, she was there, and they were there, waiting for him to appear, and they were there, and one day they were sitting there waiting for him to come out and do what you call darshan, or blessing the crowd, blessing the people. So anyhow, they were sitting there waiting for him one day, and they were just minding their own business, just waiting. And so all of a sudden, this woman out of the blue comes out, and she's hysterical. Apparently, she's hysterical or something like that. And she comes and pushes her way through and sits at the very front of the line, of the crowd, or where they were seated at. And Wilma's, she's telling the story, and she's going, yeah, this woman, how rude, this woman is rude, for her to be doing this. So anyhow, the woman sits up there, and they notice that she has something in her arms. And so Sai Baba comes and is talking to people. He's walking through, and then he comes to where this woman's at, and literally kind of looks back or something like that, and then takes off and keeps going. And the woman stands up and she goes, "My baby! Sai Baba, please heal my baby," or whatever. And Sai Baba just, I think, looks back or something like that, and then he just takes off and keeps going. And this woman is in hysterics. She's crying, blah blah blah. Please, Sai Baba, heal my baby, and he keeps going. He leaves her. And then Wilma Bronte, again, she's telling the story up in Grants Pass, Oregon. They used to do a Sai Baba retreat there every year. And I went to a number of them, and they had some amazing stories that they told there. But Wilma Bronte is going, well, and this is when she first met Sai Baba, well, I thought this guy was a saint. I thought he was supposed to heal people, blah, blah, blah. You know, and she's going, well, you know, how rude is that, or something like that. I don't know exactly remember all the verbiage she used, but anyhow, you know, she's going, well, how rude for him to leave stand there like that. So, so he takes off and keeps blessing people, and then and just keeps, you know, and moves on, you know, blah blah blah. So the next day, they're waiting for Sai Baba to come out, and they're sitting there and they're at the front of the line, and there's a whole group of, you know, all these women, and there's a group of them they're together from the same area, from Oregon or whatever, and then here comes the same woman again. She pushes everyone aside. And they're going, man, this woman is really, really rude. And so she's holding the baby in her arms. She's waiting there, and you know, she's hysterical. She's just, you know, crying or whatever. And then here Sai Baba again comes by, and again he does the same thing. He looks back and then keeps going and takes off. And again, this woman is Sai Baba. She's like really hysterical. Please take care. Please heal my baby. Blah 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 blah. So anyhow, and again, this is a true story. It happened years ago. So he gets going, and they're going, man. Again, they're questioning his validity, you know, about being a saint, because you know, he's considered what you call a cosmic Christ, a Christ conscious at the universal level. So he literally knows or knew everything that was going on throughout the universe, not just locally here in our city or in our state or in our country or on our planet, but he, you know, or even the solar system or the galaxy. But he basically knew everything that was going on throughout the whole universe. Again, cosmic Christ. So the third day, they're sitting there, and they make room for her because they know she's going to come back. And sure enough, she comes back, and she's a lot calmer. And at this point, she I believe she's seeming like she's really in shams, and she's really being depressed, I guess, and very disheartened. So finally, she sits down, and everybody just kind of, you know, just trying to support her as best they can. And they look at the baby, and she's holding the baby in her arms, and they notice flies swarming around the baby, you know. You know, and they have it, you know, there's a smell going on and all this. And then finally, Sai Baba comes by again. And she puts the baby out. Please, please, Sai Baba, heal my baby, please. So he takes, he starts to pass her up again. And then he goes back. And again, she's hysterics. Please, Sai Baba, heal my baby. Puts the baby out. Please. So then he turns around and goes back. And he holds the baby in his arms. And he starts to massage the baby. And then he breathes into the baby. All of a sudden he hears, you know, this baby crying, And he goes back to her and he says, now, you take care of your baby. Whatever you do, take care of your baby. So the baby, in other words, had been dead for 3 days, at least 3 days. And then he breathed life back into that baby. And gave it back to that woman to go take care of it. And I don't know who these people are. It would be interesting to talk to them and see, you know, what they're doing this. And this is probably what, 40, 50, 60 years ago. I don't even know. Years and years ago that this took place. And all these people witnessed this miracle, this healing that took place right in front of them. And I'm sure they were beyond belief that any such thing could take place. And so, and he has, throughout the years that he was living, and he very seldom left, he only left the country like twice over, I think. Once to Africa, and I think once to Spain, I can't remember, but I think he only left the country of India, because that's where he lived at. Twice, And when they said that when he grew up and he was growing up, he was in a classroom, and one day, and somehow for some reason he got in trouble. So Baba got in trouble. Oh my God, heaven forbid, right? So the teacher, a female teacher, put Sai Baba in the corner, and it was funny because she put him in the corner. She goes, "Go to the corner, and you sit there and wait." And then the bell rang, and everybody, the students, the teacher dismissed everybody, and everybody took off. And and then these teachers were walking by the classroom, the same classroom that we were in, and they stopped, they passed by, and then they would come back, look back in the classroom, and they go, "So and so teacher, what are you doing? Why are you sitting there?" She was, I can't move. I can't sit and move out of my chair. And then they looked in the corner and they go, "Oh, what's that Baba doing there?" She goes, I put him in the corner because he got in trouble." Well, they go, "Well, you got to let him go so he can go. So you can move out of your chair." She goes, "Oh, say Baba, you're dismissed. You can let you go now." So he got up and left, and as soon as he got up and left, she was able to move out of the chair. She had to get out of the chair. So that was kind of funny. But anyhow, and there's all kinds of stories of him doing miracles and healing and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, they said that he used to go and when he was a kid, right before he left his parents, because at one point he got bitten by a scorpion, and then he passed out or something happened to him, and then he got up, and then all of a sudden he was Sai Baba. He was a kid at one point, and after he got over this thing with this scorpion bite, then all of a sudden he was the full-fledged version of Sai Baba. So, but before, somewhere at that point, there was a tree, and when I went to India, I did. I seen the tree. I walked by it, and it was identified, and you can see the tree where they were talking. And there was nothing there except branches and maybe some leaves or something. But he used to go to that tree. He used to invite his friends. He goes, come on over. I'll give you some fruit. So he would go over to the tree, and he would go, "Whoa, what kind of fruit do you got?" "Oh, persimmon." So he'd put his hand in the tree, he'd pull out a persimmon and give it to the kid. And then he'd go to the next kid. "Oh, what kind of fruit do you want?" "Oh, an apple." So the same exact tree, he'd put his hand in it, and then grab an apple and give it to the kid. And then the next kid, "Well, what kind of fruit do you want?" "Peach." "Oh, okay." So he puts his hand in the tree and pulls out a peach and gives it to the kid. So it was like that all the time. He would go over and pull out all these fruits and give them to all these kids, and just for the asking, and that's it. And then he would teach them songs. He would teach them bhajans, and then eventually he became more and more expanded, and he got expanded into ashrams and all kinds of stuff. And he's the only one. Even this in and of itself is kind of a miracle, because Marietta, how many people in the world, famous people, I mean anybody, do you know that have had over 1 million people physically at their place for a birthday party?
Wow.
How many people do you know that had?
No, I don't know
Anybody, any famous person.
Yeah.
This man had over 1 million people. In fact, maybe 2 or 3 million. I don't even know. But he had over 1 million people there for his birthday party every year for years and years. So, and I never did go to one of those, but it must have been amazing just to coordinate that event and to have that many people out there, feed that many people, house that many people, and then all of them have to have to use the tree, they have to have their cleaning themselves up and all kinds of stuff. It's like a miraculous event that would take place every year. So, and I know when I was there, again for almost 2 months, I was there for his main ashram included parties. And right before I left, about a week before I left. Because you would go in, you would go from your quarters, and there would be the Mondir. It was huge, where thousands and thousands of people would be. And on one side of the Mondir, the men would enter, and then on the other side, the women would enter. And then on the side that the men would enter, there was two entrances, one at the front of the Mondir, one at the end. And when I went, I had two broken heels. I literally had pins in my heels. I had tripped off a roof, broke both my heels in Village of Oak Creek, there in the Sedona area. And I was working on the post office there. And so anyhow, I was there, and I would always enter at the end of the Mondir on the far side. I would always go there and then I would go sit where the old men and the crippled people and the people that were injured would sit. So when I would sit at this bench, I could get an overview of everything that was going on. I could see wherever Sai Baba was walking at and walking to, and then I would sit there and like towards the middle of the bench, and he would always stop. Like right in front of us all. He'd like wave his fingers, wave his hands, and it was like he was blessing us. And I knew that that's what he was doing. So he was blessing us, and every day he would do this to us. And then one day, again, about a week before I left, a few days before I left, I went to go enter the Mondir to go take my place. Hang on a second. So I went in there and to sit down, and the security guy, they call them Save-A-Dolls. They're basically the security for the whole place. And there's lots of them there. So I went to enter, and the security guy goes, "Well, no, you can't enter here. You have to go to the other gate." I said, "Well, what do you mean you have to go to the other gate?" He goes, "Yeah, you have to go to the other gate." I said, "I always enter here. What are you talking about? You gotta let me in." No, you have to go to the other gate. I said, "Okay, fine." So I went to the other gate, and the front gate, the front of the Mondir, the gate at the front of the Mondir is where all the dignitaries and all the students enter, and and again, crippled people and injured people and so forth. But they usually enter in both gates. So anyhow, I went in. I went to go enter, and the security guard, the Save-A-Doll, stopped me. He goes, you can't enter here. You have to go to the other gate. And by this time, I'm getting pissed, like really pissed. I go, "What are you talking about? That other guy told me I had to come over here. What are you talking about?" He goes, "No, you must go." And these Save-A-Dolls, they're Indian people, right? They're not just Save-A-Dolls. They're all East Indian or West Indian people or whatever. So he goes, "Well, no, you got to go to the other side and to the other side, at the other gate." And by this time, I'm really pissed. I'm already really getting fumed. So I said, "Okay, fine." So I went back to the other gate, and again, that guy, the Save-A-Doll, says this exact same thing. "No, well, you need to go to the other gate." So this time, I went off. I said, "Man, you guys are prejudiced. You guys are playing games. This is, this is not cool. This is not how Sai Baba would treat people, blah, 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 blah." And I went off on him. I yelled, really yelled at this guy. And people were just looking at us, and everybody stopped talking and just looked at us, right? And I go, "Now I'm going to go to my quarters, and I'm going to go to a meditation, just because you got this hang-up. You need to get with the program and get your head out of your butt and blah, 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 blah. You need to, get your story straight." So I did. I left. And I went to my quarters, and I kicked back, and I meditated for a while. And, Sai Baba would come out in the mornings and the evenings. Every morning around 7 o'clock in the morning, he would come out and do darshan. And then in the evening, around 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, he would come out and do darshan again. So this was an evening darshan that we were doing. And so I went back, I take it back. I think it was a morning darshan. Anyhow, it was a darshan. So he hadn't come out yet, and so I went to my quarters, and I was getting ready to leave in a few days, back to the United States from there. And so I went to my quarters and kicked back and just meditated. Because when I would go to these darshans, they would last, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 hours. I don't know how long, but at least 2 hours, I think. I would kick back and just bask in the bliss of the interviews that were going through, and I would just meditate and just sit there, and you could see like a big smile on my face from ear to ear from basking in the bliss of it all. And that's all I did when I did the darshans. And I wasn't there talking to people or socializing. I didn't really care about that. I was just soaking up the rays and the energies as much as I could before I left. So I did. I was kicking back, and I was doing my thing. And then all of a sudden, some of the guys came back, from the darshan, because Sai Baba would bless people, and then most of the time that I was there, he would just come out and bless people and sit there and talk to people and give people the booty, and then take their letters. People would write letters to Sai Baba, and then people like me would they'd give them to people like me, and then we would deliver the letters to Sai Baba so he can answer their prayers. And a lot of times these prayers these letters were asking Sai Baba for an interview. An interview. They would say interview, like regular interview, like process. But what Sai Baba, or what these people didn't know, was that Sai Baba was giving them an interview of who they were, of their heart space, of who they were as a person. So when they came in and actually met with them, because he would talk to people, and then he would invite a number of people to go into his main quarters, private quarters, and they would go in there and do an interview with him and talk to them. So he would give them a reflection of an interview of who they were, of what's going on in their life, and then give them suggestions or whatever. So anyhow, and that would last a few minutes, and then the whole thing would be over until the evening time or whatever for the next session. So anyhow, I was sitting in my quarters, and these guys came out, and they go, "Man, you should have seen what happened after you left." I go, "What are you talking about?" This big, huge chandelier, because this was a huge place, like a huge temple. And they had these big, huge chandeliers there, for lights and whatever else, and decoration or whatever else. And they go, "Man, there was a chandelier that right near where you guys were, arguing at, that came down crashing and just shattered everywhere." And I go, "Wow!" And I was kind of blown away. And to me, that told me that the people that live in glass houses should not go around abusing other people and talking smack to other people. So, because their houses can shatter too. So that was what that was an indication about. And it could have killed somebody because it was really huge. These chandeliers were really big. And it did. It crashed right near where we were at. And the next day, I went back, and I went to the front of the mandir, to the gate, where the front of the mandir was, and I went to enter, and the Sevadar was really really nice to me, and really polite, and really soft-spoken. And he goes, "Oh, yes, you can come in now. You can go here." And then he waved his hand for me to go ahead and motion for me to go in and sit down. So, but the other thing that told me was that Sai Baba was letting these Sevadars, these security, and these people know that at this point I was considered either a student, a formal student, or a dignitary, or a formal person of the ashram. And that I was from now on to be allowed to enter at the helm at the beginning of the gate. So he was basically promoting me as devotee, disciple, as initiate, or whatever you want to call it. So that's what that told me. And then the next day after that, I didn't go back. By then there's over 65,000 people. When I first got there to the Puja party, there was only about 10,000 people there. And by the time I left, the very last day, there was over 65,000 people there. And I said, hell no, I'm not going to go back there with all those people. It was just way too much for me. I said, forget it. So I went into town. And I went to go eat or drink a soda, a 7-Up. Something else like if you're not, if you don't, your eating habits aren't good and you're not eating good and your stomach's not doing well, what's one of the best things to do is just drink some 7-Up. So I was drinking the 7-Up, and then my guidance was go back because they had the Mandir, and then they had I can't remember another temple right next to it that was an elongated temple where the students were. Because before I left, here in Arizona, I was living in Arizona at the time. So I said, Sai Baba, because he came to me in a dream. And I sat in front of him, and I folded out my hands to him, I waved out my hands. And by the way, earlier you guys didn't see this, but I actually showed the album that we the song that we of Ananda Rasa. I showed the album on the video, on the Ustream video, but the name of the album is Mulani Dub Kirtan by Ananda Rasa, the band. So anyhow, as I'm doing this on the video, as I'm in the dream, I'm sitting, and I'm sure that this was at my elementary school, because when I went to school in California, the sidewalks were really tall and they're high. So I remember in the dream that the sidewalk where I was at was tall. So I'm sure that this took place at my elementary school. But anyhow, he was sitting down with his back to the wall and facing me. I walked by him, and then I walked back, and then I sat in front of him, and then I waved my hands out to open, so and I said, when may I come and visit you? And then he again folds out his hands to me, and he says, in May. So as he did that, all of a sudden this golden shimmering vibhuti started pouring into my hand. And so as I put my hand out, and this golden shimmering vibhuti is pouring into my hands are shaking. Like the energy is so powerful that my hands are shaking from the energy vibrating in my hands from it just being that powerful. And then right about then, some of that shimmering golden vibhuti goes to somewhere else. I go, hey, where's that going? And I kind of looked to the side, and I couldn't see where I was going to. So then I woke up in this dream, and so that's when I decided I was going to go to visit Sai Baba, and then that's when I went there. And this is back in 1997. I visited for almost 2 months. And so, anyhow, when I first got there to Puduparthi, or actually to Whitefield, to India, I went to his smaller ashram in Whitefield. So I got there, and I started going to some of his, I went to all of his darshans, and I went to a morning one day, and I had bought some vibhuti that you can buy it for 50 cents for a bag. So I bought 4 of them, and then there at the time, how you would be distinguished in terms of who would go in for interviews with him, he would pick a person there, and everybody that was wearing a flag, that same exact scarf around the neck, would go in for interview as well. So the Italians adopted me, and so they gave me one of their scarves to wear, and you just wait. You go to the darshan and you wait. He sits there and talks to people, does chit chat, and then as he's doing that, then he'll select 1 or 2 people, and he goes, okay, here, you go. And when he says you go, that means you go to the mandir and to his private quarters and for an interview. So, and everybody that's wearing that same bandana, exact same bandana, and there's hundreds of them or whatever, and there's a whole bunch of them. Everybody's wearing all these different bandanas. So, and everybody that's wearing the exact same bandana goes in and gets up and goes into the mandir for the interview or the private quarters. So anyhow, one day I was sitting down, and well, when I first got there, I sat down, because of my heels, I sat down on the bench again, where the older people were and the injured people were at. And it was awesome because, I could see all of the crowd, and I can see where Cy Bible was going, what he was doing, and just kind of just spectate and just observe everything he was doing. So it was really cool. So, when I first got there, I sat down on the floor with everybody else, and then I gave him the letters, because people gave me some letters to give him to him. So I gave those letters to him, and then after that, the next day I would sit back on the bench. So one day, I went over and bought 4 bags of booty, and I went and sat down again on the floor next to one of the saber dogs. And I had my bags in my hand, and then he comes through, and then he walks by, and then he keeps walking. And I said, hey, doesn't Cy Bible have to touch my booty for it to be blessed? He goes, oh, no, don't worry about it. If he walks by, then it's blessed. I said, oh, really? So I said, okay. So after the darshan was over, I was outside, and I was telling these people this story, the same exact thing that happened just prior to a few minutes prior to. And as soon as I said to these people, yeah, the saber dog goes, yeah, no, if he walks by, it's blessed. As soon as I said that, all of a sudden, I had the booty in my hands, the 4 bags, and my hands were shaking. Because, again, the energies pouring through the booty were so powerful that they were shaking my hands. And so I did. I gave one of the bags, and everybody was looking at me, and I was looking at my hand. I go, wow, that's pretty powerful. So I gave one of those bags to the Italians, and then I took those bags back with me to the States. And for a long time, they used to call me the booty guy, because I used to just carry this little container, and I always have the booty on me, no matter where I go. What I was doing. In fact, when I used to live in Hawaii and work as an activity agent there, I would always talk to the Mormons. I always liked to talk to the Mormon guys. They'd come up to my booth, and I'd go, hey, you got your Bible on you? They go, no, it's in the car. Oh, no, it's at home. Well, a lot of good that's doing you. What are you talking about? So I go, here, look it. I got my booty container here. You can have some booty. So I give them some booty. And then, I go, and I'm sure that after that, they never forgot the Bible again. I can almost guarantee you that. So anyhow, they used to call me the booty guy, and we always used to give booty to people all the time. And eventually I gave it all out, and it's been gone since. And it's been a while since I've had booty by Cy Bible, but I've been to another saint by the name of Karuna Mai that comes through. Ever since I met her. The first time I met her, I just barely had a place to live. I didn't have a job, and I went to visit her. I was out in Sedona, and as soon as the very day that I visited her, right after that, I got a job, and I was working with this guy for several years, like 6 years or something like that. And I eventually got my own place to live and all this other stuff. And then another saint that I went to visit, and eventually. Years ago, I did the tour with her across the United States, a woman by the name of Anna. She's a husband saint. In 2003, I did the tour all across the country with her, and she hugged. The way that she did darshan was through hugging people. And at the time, in 2003, she had hugged over 45 million people, from what I understand, and had won the Gandhi Peace Prize Award that year. So anyhow, I did the tour. And I was guided to not do anything, just observe. And so that's what I did. So I was kind of like a guardian or something like that. And I just like the overseer. And for the whole journey, and it was just amazing to me that she did what she did, and it just with unconditional love, and just because she that's what she wanted to do. And yeah, she just came back to the States. Every year she does a tour. Right now she's in San Ramon, California. Then she'll be in Los Angeles, I think, next weekend. And then she's going to be here in Santa Fe right after that. And I don't know if I'm going to go see her, but anyhow. So anyhow, I want to thank you for stopping by, Marietta. We're all the time. And thank you for all your stories and all your sharing. I want to thank all of you for stopping by. Have a God-Goddess week. Be the love that you are. Oh, yeah, Dan. Oh, Golden. Aloha.
Thank you. Aloha.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
And that is a wrap. Wow. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I think it went okay.
Yeah, and I could...
sure when I started.
Yeah, me neither, right?
I get my mouth full and I'm okay.
There's actually somebody that came on right at the last minute, but I guess they were too late. What can I say? But and there was actually some guy, I think some guy or something at the beginning, and they got impatient. What can I say? People get impatient, and they don't want to stick around. So I guess that's their problem, not mine. So, because I was getting ready to open up the mic so that they can ask the question, but right before they hung up. So,
maybe we just need to say that they might need to hang on a while.
I was going to say that, but I never got a chance. But I was letting you roll. Since you were on a roll, I'm just letting you go there now. So, that's okay. See, I don't know, we should do another segment, a part 2 or something like that. Because I got a lot more stories of these stories to go that I can talk about. We can talk about a lot of the other stuff that you were bringing in as well. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of topics we could pick on. One I was kind of running through my head, but I don't know if it fits with the shows. I was thinking about doing one concerning like disease and stuff, but how our food is contaminated and where it comes from and all that kind of stuff. Could we do something like that?
Well, it has to be paranormal related. So, is that paranormal related?
No, probably not. It's more like food not being healthy and stuff.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and that's what I want to stay focused with. And I don't know how this show is gonna evolve. Because sometimes these shows they evolve themselves. Years ago, when I said God, when I started doing the interviews, I said, God, I'm not gonna go out of my way to do the interview. You're gonna have to make them happen. You're gonna have to bring these people in. So forget it. So that's what's been happening, and literally this show evolves on its own. I just go with it, and different things happen, and it just keeps evolving. Literally keeps evolving. So
well, we could probably do another one on miracle healing because the research stuff I've done for it hasn't come in yet, so I'll probably have more stuff on that.
Let's do that, because I could go on with more stories, Sai Baba stories, and Maitreya Buddha stories, and Jesus stories, and all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds.
Yeah, because I was going to jump in there on Deepak Chopra. He picks up on the Sai Baba stuff, and he brought that to the United States, so we have him. And there's other healers, and then there's even that movie that was on recently, but I don't have enough information on that. I watched it, but I forgot what the name of the girl was.
Well, let's do that. Let's do a part 2, and then if we have enough information, we'll even do a part 3 and part 4 if we have to, or whatever. So, because that seems to be a hit.
Together.
I don't know, everything just started coming out, and so I wasn't even thinking about all those stories, but it just came out. So.
Well, I was thinking too the American Indian shamans, and there was Rolling Thunder, different healing.
Yeah, we can different styles of healing and different cultures of healing and miracles. Absolutely.
And crystal healing. There's the crystal stone, stuff like that.
As I'm thinking about this, we could go on for and on and on and on with a lot of stuff. So let's do a part 2, and if we have to do a part 3 and part 4, we can do that too, or whatever. So I think we have plenty of material. Absolutely.
All right, I'll try to put something together. So that'll be the second Tuesday coming up next, or are you taking a break there at some point? When is it you're going to your
second Tuesday? What do you mean?
The second Tuesday of next month?
No, this Friday. This is Friday. I kept thinking this was Sunday. No, next Friday. The second Friday of the month. Not Tuesday.
Yeah, okay.
So,
okay.
Remember today's Friday?
Yeah.
Yours bad as me.
Yeah, I wasn't sure I was going to pull this off tonight because I totally had in my mind that it was next week.
Yeah.
And my grandson says, no, I think that's tonight, and I'm going, I've got 1 hour to get it together.
So how old is your grandson?
I have a grandson that lives with me.
Yeah, how old is he?
Oh, he's 12.
Oh, I thought he was younger than that. I thought he was like, you know, like 3 or 4 years old or whatever.
No, he was 12, but he just happened to remember hearing me saying something about me. He says, "No, that's not next week, it's this week."
Yeah, you better take lessons from him. Sounds like he's a pretty smart kid, then.
I'm very time challenged. I always have been.
But then let's do that. We're gonna do part 2, and if we got plenty more stuff, then we'll do it. We'll do a part 3 and part 4. But like I said, that just, I mean, I wasn't even thinking that any of that. I mean, it just came out, and it just all just flowed through. So we'll talk to you then, and then we have the second show next Friday. So
Yeah.
and don't forget to promote the show on your Facebook and on Twitter and all the other stuff.
I don't have a Facebook page right now.
Well, I see.
He was getting